August 12, 2025, Kenya wakes up to political tremors. In Kisumu, Governor Anyang' Nyong'o steps before the cameras and drops a bombshell. ODM will support one presidential candidate to challenge President William Ruto in 2027. And in case there was any doubt, he makes it clear. ODM is in the government, but not part of the government. For months, whispers in political circles suggested that President Ruto might seek Raila Odinga's blessing, maybe even an alliance to secure his second term. Today, those whispers were shattered. This is not just political news, it is the start of a new chess game in Kenyan politics, one that could change the outcome of the next election, the country's direction, and maybe even its stability. But what does this really mean? Why is this announcement such a direct blow to President Ruto's 2027 strategy? And is Raila Odinga preparing for the political comeback of the decade or the farewell tour of a political giant? In politics, words are weapons. They can unite, they can divide, and sometimes they can end months of behind-the-scenes negotiations in a single sentence. When the Kisumu governor said ODM will rally behind one president candidate, it sent a clear message. We are not splitting votes. We are not negotiating with William Ruto. The phrase "in the government but not part of the government" is not new in Kenyan politics. We saw similar positioning in the past. Think of 2008 after the Grand Coalition was formed, or in 2018 after the famous handshake. ODM has learned the art of being close enough to influence government policy, but far enough to keep freedom to criticize and eventually oppose. For Ruto, this is a nightmare. Why? Because his 2027 game plan partly relied on dividing the opposition, quoting some ODM leaders, and reducing Raila's influence in his strongholds. This announcement unites the opposition instead. When ODM says it is in government, they mean they have got people inside the system. Raila Odinga has allies in ministers, parastatals, and key committees. These positions give them insight, network, and influence over public opinion. But when they say they are not part of government, they mean they are not tied to the failures, scandals, or unpopular policies of that government. If something goes wrong, the economy dips, unemployment rises, ODM can stand with Kenyans and say that is on Ruto, not on us. This positioning gives them the best of both worlds, resources to organize and moral authority to criticize. Now we have to talk about the man at the center of this storm, Raila Amolo Odinga. At 80 years old in 2027, Raila is not a young man, but Kenyan politics has shown us time and again. Age is just a number if you have the networks, the energy, and the brand. And Raila's brand is unmatched in Kenyan opposition politics. He has run for president 5 times. He has shaped every major political alliances since the 1990s. And he has a loyal base in Nyanza, Coast, Nairobi, and parts of Western. Supporters say 2027 could be the final push, the last attempt to crown a political career that has lasted over 4 decades. Critics say he should pass the torch to younger leaders, but here is the reality. ODM's announcement today almost guarantees Raila will be in the race unless a miracle happens and he endorses someone else. For William Ruto, this is bad news. Let's be clear, Ruto is still a master campaigner. In 2022, he pulled off one of the most disciplined, aggressive, and well-funded campaigns Kenya has ever seen. But his 2027 re-election strategy was always going to be harder. Why? Because incumbency cuts both ways. Yes, you have state resources. Yes, you have the bully pulpit, but you also carry the weight of every promise you made and every promise you broke. If Raila is running again, Ruto faces a united opposition. If Raila is not running, Ruto still faces ODM's machine, backing someone like Kalonzo Musyoka or a surprise candidate, and that can still be dangerous. He now has to decide, double down on his Hustler Nation base and hope it's enough, or find a new strategy to win over the urban and coastal voters who have traditionally leaned towards Raila. Raila's biggest strength is his ability to form alliances. Remember NASA in 2017. Remember Azimio in 2022. He might not always win, but he can unite leaders who otherwise can't stand each other. If ODM is rallying around one candidate, that means the Wiper Party, NARC Kenya, and possibly other smaller outfits could be pressured to support that person. If it is Raila himself, the emotional appeal will be powerful. One last dance, as some supporters put it. Let's not forget, 2027 will be the most youth-driven election in Kenyan history. Millions of first-time voters will be between 18 and 25 years old. In 2022, Ruto's hustler message resonated with many of them. But the question is, will it still work after 5 years in power? ODM will be working hard to capture youth frustration, high unemployment, cost of living, student loans, and lack of opportunities. The battle for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube will be as important as rallies in Kisumu or Eldoret. On the ground, the mood is mixed. In Kisumu, the announcement was met with cheers. In part of Rift Valley, it was dismissed as political noise. In Nairobi, people are split. Some want change, others want stability. But here's the truth. 2027 will be won not on TV, not on Twitter, but in the matatus, the markets, and the church gatherings where ordinary Kenyans talk about the cost of unga and the price of fuel. So ODM has fired the first shot. Raila Odinga's shadow looms large over 2027. William Ruto must now redraw his entire battle plan. And you, the voter, hold the final card. Will you choose the veteran or the incumbent? Will you vote for change or for continuity? One thing is certain, the road to 2027 will be long, loud, and unpredictable. Stay tuned. Kenya's political drama is just getting started.
I don't think that ODM will support President Ruto's re-election in 2027, regardless. But they want to continue being there because, like I've said so many times, at the risk of repetition, there are benefits coming from that. And this is good. This was a good statement made. This was, this was comforting to President.
I will read all the resolutions that are made by organs of ODM. Except one. Except one. Wanachama ODM wakipitisha waseme Sifuna ni shenzi kabisa, nitasoma. Wakisema huyu Sifuna ni bure kabisa, nitasoma. Lakini siku ile watapitisha ati chama cha ODM kitaunga Kasongo mkono mwaka wa 2020.
Lakini tukitoka hapa utapata wengine wameenda kwa mkutano ya UDA ama mkutano ya DAP, wanaanza kusema mambo ingine tofauti. Sisi kama chama hakuna siku tumekaa na tukasema ati mtu mwingine 10 bila break. We have never sat and endorsed any leader for presidency. Baba atatupatia mwelekeo. Kwa hivyo those politicians